Hey Bears, welcome to our first Den meeting here in February. I'm your Den leader, Sheldon. If everyone could please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance and Scout Oath and Scout Law.
All right. Scout salute. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. 2. Please join me in the Scout sign and repeat the Scout oath. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country and to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. Please join me in the Scout law. A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. 2.
Hey Bears, I don't know about you, but my favorite part as a Cub Scout is always seeing campfires. So what I want to do is I want to show you guys an awesome campfire program and maybe a way you can do it right now, even with all of this restrictions on how we can meet. So I had a little special adventure with a lot of my friends, and we thought of 3 different ways to have a campfire. One that's inside with a fake fire, one that's inside with a real fire, and one that we can still do outside. Maybe you can take one of these and do it with your pack. Now, as we watch these, I want you guys to pay close attention to tongue twisters like one called Rindersella. What is that? I don't know. Let's go find out, Bears. Let's go see this. Hello, Cub Scouts, and welcome to our great campfire experience of 2021. I'm here with my fellow reporter, Carl, and I'm Sven Sungard here with us from our amazing site over here in Minnesota. And yes, today we have multiple campfire locations, and I'm just going on because I believe it's about to start any second. And yes, it is. Again, this is Sven Sungard throwing it off to, I believe, Den leader Sheldon. He's going to go ahead and start our campfire experience. Let's head over to him. How's it going, Scouts? Welcome to our multiple campfire session. I hope you're doing awesome. I don't know about you, but I'm doing fantastic, terrific, groovy, and all that stuff. Welcome to our campfire. We do campfires in multiple locations so you and your pack, or maybe even your family, can learn about where they can do campfires as an awesome campfire program just like ours. I think we're gonna start off with a song, and I think it's a repeat after me song, so make sure you do it at home too. Let's see what it is. Come on!
All right, thank you, Sheldon, for that great intro. You know, I'm feeling a little hungry. How about you?
Definitely, but what could I eat?
You know what? I'm getting word that another skit's about to start, and I think it has to do a little bit with food. So let's go check that out.
Ooh, let's find out. All right, Scouts, welcome to our outdoor campfire. We're going to start our outdoor campfire with a repeat after me song. This is repeat after me song.
This is a repeat after me song.
Whatever I do, you do.
Whatever I do, you do.
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
And boomily bop.
And boom-a-bop.
I got to get back to my block
I got to get back to my block
with these pizzas in my hands,
with these pizzas in my hand.
so I can be the pizza man.
The pizza man.
And boomily bop.
And boom-a-bop.
I got to get back to my block
I got to get back to my block
with these ice cubes in my hands,
with these ice cubes in my hand.
so I can be the penguin.
So I can be the penguin.
The penguin.
The penguin.
The pizza man.
Pizza man.
And boomily bop.
And boom-a-bop.
I got to get back to my block
I got to get back to my block
with these basketballs in my hands,
with these basketballs in my hand.
so I can be the Michael Jordan.
So I can be the Michael Jordan.
The Michael Jordan.
The Michael Jordan.
The penguin.
The penguin.
The pizza man.
The pizza man.
And boomily bop.
And
I got to get back to my block
I got you. Get back to that black.
With these nunchucks in my hands.
With these nunchucks in my hand.
So I can be the Jackie Chan.
So I can be
The Jackie Chan.
Jackie Chan.
The Michael Jordan.
The Michael Jordan.
The Penguin.
The Penguin.
The Pizza Man. Eh, bubbly bop. I got to get back to my block. With these jokers in my hands.
With these jokers.
So I can be the Batman.
So I can be
The Batman. The Jackie Chan.
the Jackie Chan.
The Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan.
The Penguin.
The Penguin.
The Pizza Man. The pizza's here.
Yeah.
All right, good job, Scouts. Way to go.
All right, so that was a great song. We got to hear from our den leader, Sheldon, and we got to see some people outside. But now let's head inside to our den leader, Ben, and he's going to tell us a story about a fairy tale we may have heard before. But I think he said that there's a little bit of a difference in how he tells it. So let's see if we can spot that
All right,
difference.
Cub Scouts, let's find out.
All right, Scouts, so today I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story. It's maybe one you've heard before, so make sure you listen carefully because there's one small difference and see if you can catch what the difference between the story you may have heard and the story I'm going to tell you. All right, so this is the story of Rindersella. Once upon a time, in a corn country, there lived a beautiful girl, and her name was Rindersella. Now, Rindersella lived with her mugly other and her two sad sisters. And in that same corn country, there lived a very pransome hince. Now, that pransome hince, he was going to have a fancy fall, so he invited people from riles amount, especially the pitch people. So Rindersella's mugly other and her two sad sisters went up to buy some drancy fesses to wear the fancy fall. But Rindersella couldn't go because all she had were some old ruddy dags. So the night of the fancy fall arrived, and Rindersella couldn't go, so she just cat down and stride. But as she was kitting there a shrine, all of a sudden, her Gary Mudfeather appeared, and she waved her wagic wand, and thus appeared a Sig Boach and Hicks White sources to take her to the fancy fall. But the Gary Mudfeather said to Rindersella, "You need to be home before midnight, or I'll turn you into a tumpkin." So Rindersella, when she arrived at the fancy fall, she was met at the door by the pransome hince, for he had been watching for her from a wooden window in a big tie hower. So Rindersella and that pransome hince, they danced all night long, and they lell and fuv. But suddenly, the mid-clock struck night, and Rindersella, she stand down the rares. But as she beached the rodham, she slopped her dripper. So that next day, that pransome hince went all around that corn country, looking for the beautiful burl who had slopped her dripper. When he arrived at Rindersella's house, he tried on the mugly other, and it fittin' did. He tried on the two sad bisters, and it fittin' did. It just fittin' did. But then he tried on Rindersella, and it fid did. It was exactly the sight rise, and they lived happily ever after. So, the story of the Maury is this. If you live in a corn country and get invited to a fancy fall so you can dance all dice so you can wall and fuv with your pransome hints, just make sure to slop your dripper. All right, thanks guys. Hopefully you caught the difference in the story, and let us know if you can see what the little difference was. All right, see you later.
All right, Carl, I got some breaking news. After that amazing little speech we just heard, I have some breaking news that there's something about a run something. I'm not sure. Let's go to that and find out.
Ah! It's all around me! It's all around me!
What's around you?
My belt!
Ah! It's over again. I can't breathe.
Seemed like you kind of like that run on. I guess I didn't really find it that funny, but
Let me tell you, Carl, every year with these big, huge events, there's always something that just cracks me up and make me cry. Belt around you, I'm going to tell you. Whew. All right, I believe now we're getting to another story about a very interesting how we can cooperate or work together. I'm not sure. Let's go ahead and throw it to our den leader, Charlie, for this.
All right, everyone, come on in and take a seat. We're reaching the end of our campfire, so I'm going to share a little story with you. A long time ago, there was a weary and poor traveler who arrived in a small village with nothing to eat. He was hungry, he had no money, but all he had was a small pot that he used for cooking on those rare occasions that he did have some food. He went down in the village and started a campfire. He put on his pot with some water, and the villagers came to check out what he was doing. He said, "I am making stone soup. It is an ancient recipe that is very tasty that was passed on from my ancestors." He pulled out of his pocket a small stone, plopped it into the pot, and watched the water boil. Some of the villagers came curious as to what he was doing. He would taste the soup from time to time, and he tasted it, saying it was coming along nicely, but some salt would do well to help the soup. One villager decided that she wanted to help, so she went home and brought some salt for the soup. He tasted it and said it was doing well. As he continued to share his stories of all the incredible adventures he had been on, more villagers came, curious as to what this man was doing with his soup. He said maybe some carrots or onions would help bring the soup alive. Another villager, wanting to help, went home and brought some carrots from their cellar. The man tasted it, saying it was coming along nicely, and continued to watch the soup cook. Now, as he told his stories and sharing crazy adventures of everything he had been on and done and seen in the world, more villagers wanted to help, adding seasoning, a little bit of meat, some onions and celery, all to help this soup come alive. When they had done that, the old man said that the soup was ready to taste. All the villagers shared in this stone soup, which they had helped create, bringing what they had to make a delicious meal. Each person gave very little, but together they combined their efforts and made something delicious, all starting from a pot of boiling water and a stone. This is a great reminder that when we come together and work as a group, we can achieve much more than anyone individually. On top of that, when people see something that's already seeming to be successful, they're much more willing to help than when something is just starting out. I hope you guys learned a lot from that story, and thank you for listening.
All right, so thank you, Charlie, for that great story. It really helped us learn some really cool things. We're getting towards the end of our campfire, so I'm going to throw it back down to our den leader, Sheldon, and he's going to introduce us to our last part of our campfire, which is something we call Scout Vespers. Let's go check that out.
Thank you, Scouts, for joining us today. Hope everybody had an awesome time. I know my belly was laughing and rolling with many of the things we got to see tonight. Now, as always, our campfires end with Cub Scout Vespers, so if everyone could please stand and join me in Vespers.
As the night comes to this land, on my promise I will stand. I will help my pack to go, as my pack helps me to grow. Yes, I'll always give goodwill. I'll follow my Akela still. And before I stop to rest, I will do my very best.
Wow, Carl, so many amazing things we got to see out here today.
Yeah, for sure. It was great to be able to do this broadcast with you, Sven.
Yeah, thank you all of our Scouts for joining us. So many handsome people we got to see over the camera. Really good looking ones too, especially that den leader Sheldon. That's personally to me. Thank you so much for joining us today, Scouts, and make sure you join us in 2022 when we have another awesome campfire experience. Hey Bears, thank you for joining me today. There were some definitely good laughs we had in there. Make sure you join us next time when we talk about tools, safety, and woodworking. Sounds like a lot of fun, and it may have to do with something we do later in Cub Scouts. Make sure to join us to find out. Thanks, Bears. Bye!